Hey guys, it's Charlotte here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So I wanted to jump on today because I know that a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now. You're seeing it kind of all over the place. A lot of people are being triggered and we're being forced to really step out of our comfort zone and kind of look at things from a different perspective. And so it's been a struggle for a lot of us going through this. However, it's really important to focus on the aspect of the change that is coming forth. So one thing I want to point out is that I was literally forced the other day, something as simple as the tarot cards, to change up all of the cards that I use comfortably. They're like my cards that are always on the table. No matter when I switch the decks out, it's like those 3 or 4 whatever, always just on the table. And they made me change it all and go to all of the cards that I don't really even use a whole lot. They're kind of there for reference and if I get drawn to it, but other than that I kind of leave them alone or like read from the book. and I don't read from the book much, so you know, when I have cards like that, it's just because I'm avoiding something in myself as well. And so that's just like a small example of kind of how we're being guided to change little things, right? And so today I'm going to just pull some cards from the one deck that I avoid and use the book a lot. And I don't know, this one's not the one I avoid the most for sure, but it was one I used today, and that was where the conflict card came out. And you know, I think that there's a lot of people being triggered right now, and a lot of people are projecting their triggers to us as well. And so we have to recognize that some of the triggers that are coming up right now aren't even ours to begin with. And so that's where we have to be really focused on where we're going with this. So I got the Enlightenment card here, the crown chakra, and it's kind of talking about how once you see that bigger picture of why these things are happening, and this is where it's like, look, I realized that there's conflict going around, and I was just gonna like pull a couple cards and like type a little thing out, and I was like, no, I feel like we need to talk first, because I think that the typing wouldn't have gotten out what I need to get out. There's this enlightenment trying to come in here of seeing where we need to draw boundaries with people and why they're being triggered and stuff like this is because a lot of their stuff is being projected back at them. So they're trying to project it back to us, so to speak. And so we have to recognize the things that trigger us when they're being triggered. Those things are things that are being brought to the surface to allow you to heal them and recognize them and open up to them. And this is why there's been such a push to heal these things, and why I've been like really being a lot more honest about it, because it's been a push for a little while and we really are at this point of trying to transition. And so we can't fall back to our old ways because we're still trying to get to this point of enlightenment, okay? And so it's through like going into the pleasure. The Venus card here comes up with pleasure. We have to find the balance, you know, find the good things that are also happening. What are you manifesting? Because if you really pay attention to your words and your thoughts and your actions lately, you can see how instantly you're manifesting things. And right now, if you can really even just change one thing that you are thinking poorly about, you know, this is something that I've definitely been going through, is a lot of clearing statements and learning how to just like recognize when I'm complaining a lot, or you know, feeding the shadow aspect where I'm like thinking that not enough's going to come in, or whatever the case may be, right? So let me just pull a couple more cards here. But it's just, yeah, interesting. The Cleanse and Purify card comes out, water. That's exactly what's happening. This is where there's that purge to clear the house, to purge to clean the car, purge to clean your friends list. I literally sat and like my computer was on overload trying to delete like 20,000 emails. You know, I'd like 26,000 or something like that, and I just like deleted everything. And it took about half hour for my poor computer to even delete that, but it was literally just stuff it's storage, right? It's open trajectories. Now that everything's gone, I can unsubscribe to all these emails. I've been like clearing the friends lists and Facebooks and all this kind of stuff because it's just open energy cords, okay? And that's something we don't see and recognize, is that with every idea that we have, this is what I'm talking about, trajectories, whether it's in a career where we really had this like aspect of being an animal healer, but then we got stuck in, you know, the mainstream job because we needed to survive. This trajectory of being in animal care is just always energetically being pulled. Every time we think about being in a relationship with somebody, that energy cord is literally drawn out there just waiting to be fulfilled or brought back in to be closed. And so this is why I'm like, guys, we have to cleanse, we have to purge, we have to clear this stuff in the house. You know what happens when you go through a closet and you literally organize the whole thing? I'm like looking at my freshly organized closet because I definitely put it off for weeks and weeks and finally did it. So it's like, hey, but you know what happens when you do that? One, you get rid of so much stuff that you didn't even realize that's just sitting there. It's not even being used. I got rid of an entire tote. And guys, like, I'm in a 300 square foot cabin. So like, I don't have fucking much stuff to be getting rid of in the first place. And I was still like, purge it all. I spent hours just shredding up paperwork that I'd been carrying for years, guys, years. From Saskatchewan all the way to BC, that's just been sitting there, open trajectories, all these energy lines. So there's this need to purge because this renewal is really trying to come in, right? There's this new energy shifting you, and this is why we're triggered. This is why we're really like in between, where this conflict comes up and we're so frustrated and so stressed. This is why we need time for ourselves. This is why we need to really be focusing on us and what these triggers mean for us. I want you guys asking yourselves more questions of like, what does this mean for me? Not what these people are doing to us or what they're projecting at us. What does that projection come from? Where does it stem from? That's the important thing. Look, the throat chakra is coming up, self-expression. So it's showing you that right now you're really trying to express yourself and having to set those boundaries. That seems like a really big thing. You're creating security in yourself, the root chakra. It's really about grounding and having faith, air sign, interesting, it's air, having faith in your thoughts, right? And that you can manifest these new ideas, or you can manifest the old ways and the old projections too, right? So that's where we're like, close these trajectories and really like start thinking more manifestating thoughts that are good and not so harsh and scary. There's that manifestation card right at the bottom, and I'm running out of time because, you know, my phone's full. So I hope this helps. I will chat with you guys soon. Take care.